Hey guys, it's Angel. This is a special video. I have literally been praying on this for a good week and a half now. It's taken me a week and a half to come up with everything that I've come up with because I had to confirm it with the Lord. I had to pray on it and I needed His help with putting everything together for you guys. So I didn't want to just do it off of my own flesh and what I thought was what makes a person your kingdom spouse. I needed the Lord to stamp this. I needed His approval. I needed His guidance on this. That's the only way I would feel comfortable releasing it. Otherwise, I would feel like I'm leading you guys astray. And I don't want that blood on my hand. Guys, for your own sake, go back and seek the Lord on this. Okay? Get your own confirmation through Him. Pray about it. Ask God for yourselves. Seek guidance from Him. The first thing that I had. Your kingdom spouse will know you because they know God. They'll feel a sense of familiarity through knowing the Holy Spirit. That feeling that they feel that's oh so familiar, that feels like home, is just the feeling of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is what's connecting the both of you. So even if he's a prodigal, he'll have the fruits of the Spirit and he'll know Christ. Also, it's going to be special and nothing like the relationships that you've had in the past. You'll feel like something outside of the two of you is orchestrating things and guiding you along the way, which is God and His heavenly helpers and destiny helpers He'll send. Like, for example, our brothers and sisters in Christ that's on YouTube that are called to assist you in your walk. Not everybody is my assignment. That's how I see it. You know, the people that are drawn to me, most likely God has called me to help in some type of way. The people who might not care for me, they're probably not my assignment. Not everybody is your assignment. Not everybody is there in your life to assist you and help you. So God knows what He's doing. You know what I mean? Your previous relationships will be carnal based. And they'll operate off of your own desires, your own knowledge, your wants and needs that stem from indoctrinated beliefs that society planted in your mind throughout the years, right? Like, I want a husband that is a lawyer, a doctor, makes this type of income and, you know, status and the house with the white picket fence. When you're in your carnal, fleshly way of living, you make decisions based off of the world, right? And you completely exclude God out of it. And that's what gets us in a lot of trouble. We make decisions based off of our flesh, the way they look and status and all that stuff. Then we wonder why the divorce rate is so high. Well, they excluded God out of everything. You know what I mean? And not to say that a godly couple are not subject to getting a divorce. But what I'm saying is a 3-strand cord is not easily broken. And when God is in the midst, you know what I mean? It's just harder. It's harder to break that union. And you're not seeking your own flesh to fight. You have God fighting for you. You know what I mean? If God be for you, who can be against you? So, you know what I mean? It's just a whole different dynamic when you involve the Lord. The relationship will bring you closer to the Father. You'll find yourself wanting to seek Him for answers and guidance. You will feel this innate desire to return home or get closer to the Father. You and your spouse are one, so clinging to the Lord will also make you feel closer to your spouse. This person will make you feel like you found your way back home. You'll feel a sense of alignment, like you're finally on the right path to your purpose. So as I was gathering this information, chit-chatting with Dad, at one point he showed me a fish, and I'm like, come on. So like for 5 whole minutes, I'm like, why are you showing me a fish? What does that have to do with, you know, God ordained spouses? Like, what does that have to do with relationships, Dad? So I'm like really wrecking my brain. Like, why did he show me a fish? And then I saw scales. And it dawned on me in the spirit. I said, oh, it ministered to my spirit that when you're with your kingdom spouse, the scales will be removed from your eyes. You'll see things completely different. So thank you, Holy Spirit, to go in depth a little bit about the fish and the scales. As I was listening back to this recording, which I always do before I post it, just to make sure I didn't leave anything out, the Lord ministered to my spirit. He reminded me how I couldn't see my spouse. I couldn't even see him for who he was until the Lord completely took me out of that darkness, until I gave my life fully to Christ. Some of you guys don't know my testimony with my God-ordained spouse, but we've known each other for about 23 years. We were each other's first love, but I was head over heels, but I didn't value him. I was a kid, for one. I didn't have any business being in a relationship. Our parents made us break up. I never valued him in my mind, and like he was just too good. I didn't value myself. I didn't even think I was good enough for this guy. He was just like the boy next door, the preacher's kid. I was a preacher's kid too, but I was in rebellion. And everybody loved him. He was so perfect. Every time I saw him, literally, I promise, since I was a kid, I used to tell him he looked like Jesus. He looked like Jesus. At one point, he had these dreads that were like down to his shoulder, and then his facial hair and everything. I just couldn't help but see Jesus every time I would see him. And honestly, I was running from the Lord at that time. I was running. I wanted to be in the world, and I got myself tore down. But I didn't see his value. I just didn't feel like he was the one for me because he was too pure. And I was pure as well. I was. Because even though I was in the world, they didn't accept me. I wanted to be a part of the world, and the world didn't accept me. They saw God in me, and they rejected me. I was too pure for the world, although I wanted to be a part of it. God puts a stamp on your forehead. And when he chooses you, that was me. So for a long time, I ran from God. And so to bring it back, because I'm going off the rails here, bring it back. I could not see who he was in the spirit. I could not see who he was to me until those scales fell off of my eyes. And that didn't happen until I came back to Christ and I fully committed to him and gave him my life. I sacrificed every desire I had, every contact I had. I literally just did a song with somebody that you guys know, a legend, and I cut everything off and chose a life of Christ, and I don't regret it. But I could not see that person until I saw Christ. So, yeah. Your spouse probably will not see you until he chooses Christ. Like I said, if he's a prodigal, he'll know Christ. He'll love Christ. He'll have him in his heart. But until he chooses Christ, he probably won't see you in your fullness, who you are in Christ and who you are to him. So, yeah. This person will bring you joy like no other, and they'll feel the same regarding you. Regardless of what you guys been through, they will have unconditional love and joy deep down when they think about you. And you'll feel the same. No matter how mad you are, you love this person unconditionally, and you have so many moments where you just smile and laugh because the person makes you extremely happy. They will know where your wounds are before you tell them. Dad will have already revealed it to them. So they'll protect certain things about you. Like they might not bring up a certain topic, or they'll be real gentle when it comes to certain things, vice versa. You'll know, what's sensitive to them, and you'll operate accordingly based off of that. So A lot of times you guys will have the same wounds, not all the time, and that's to help each other heal and to express empathy. You will see miracles, signs, and wonders, for sure. God may send you scriptures with confirmation. You may see their name everywhere. God might send you a song that ministers to your spirit, and you'll know it's coming from them. You just know it is. The Lord loves to encourage us, and he knows, this journey is not easy. So he sends us strength along the way, and best believe it's happening to them too, guys. Like my kingdom spouse, he was telling me how he saw my face and everything. He said it could be a coffee mug. My face just come right up. It's hilarious, guys, because it was the same thing for me. They will have the same prophetic gifts or one that complements yours. Whether they tell you or not, you'll find out that they have prophetic gifts. The Lord has put you two together to be a powerhouse in his kingdom, and it's for a purpose. If he's not involved in the relationship, guys, it will never work, period, because he's the one orchestrating. This is his story. This is his love story. So you think you're just going to take over and start making plans and control this ship? No, the ship will sail, okay, and sink. I'm telling you, remove your hands off of his story. This is his story. He wants the glory out of this situation. Warning, the devil will try his best to defile what the Lord is doing. And that brings me to, now, before I expand on this, another way you'll know that it's your kingdom spouse, there's a little bit of resistance. It's just not clicking the way it should click, because you might experience a little bit of or a lot of spiritual warfare, because the devil knows what this union is and what it's going to do. You think he's just going to let you just walk off all happy and merry into the sunset? No, ma'am. No, sir. He's going to fight that thing. He's going to fight that thing. We fight back in the spirit, right? We fight for our promise in the spirit. What's for us is for us. This is our promise, and God's going to equip us with the knowledge to fight back. So just know the devil replicates everything God does. He's a counterfeit. He's a counterfeit. He wants to be God. He's not God. He's a counterfeit. You know what I mean? He's a counterfeit, and he's a copycat. It can only be one God, but he's going to try his best. Just like these counterfeits, a lot of them are out here trying their best to be us and carry our spirit. It's just only one God-ordained person for your person. Okay? Counterfeits can try as much as they want. Pray for them. Hopefully they find their God-ordained spouse. So anyway, I'm getting off track. To get back on track, the devil is a counterfeit. He replicates everything God is doing, right? So God-ordained spouses, kingdom spouses, is God's doing. It's divine. It's not a regular relationship. Don't let people tell you that this kingdom spouse thing, it doesn't exist. It does exist. God most certainly puts people together. But like I was saying, you guys, the devil replicates everything God does. So what a God-ordained kingdom spouse is, the legit, authentic thing, is a twin flame in the kingdom of darkness. It's the bootleg version of a kingdom spouse. Do not be fooled. It is the bootlegged version of a kingdom spouse, meaning not authentic, not real. It's the bootleg version. Okay? He uses the same knowledge and familiar spirits to reel you in and redirect you so you lose your birthright. He does this to defile what God is doing. And once you come into agreement with the false idols and relying on the kingdom of darkness instead of the Holy Spirit, it gives the devil a legal right to infiltrate. So be very careful. I have a testimony of my own when it comes to this, guys. The spiritual realm is real. The kingdom of darkness is real, very real. I have seen them face to face. It is a real thing. And it's a very serious thing. A lot of people, they go out there and they play with it and dibble and dab. And no, you are opening yourself up to demonic contracts and coming into agreement with witchcraft and altars with your name on it. And it gives them legal rights to destroy your life. Stay away from it. Okay? Please. Stay away from the new age stuff, okay? Yeah, it might sound like it's on point. You go on Google, you see the definition of a twin flame, and it sounds just like the situation you have with your God-ordained spouse, two being one and this and that. Remember, the devil is a counterfeit. He replicates everything God does, okay? If you want the real deal, stick with God. That's the real deal, okay? Okay, the devil uses confusion and familiar spirits to reel you in. Because he'll have you feeling like, oh, there's some truth to this. This has to be right. Now you're second guessing God, and you know what I'm saying? And that's how he takes your promise away. Gotcha. He's slick. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Don't let him get you guys, okay? All right. Stay away from that. Stay away from tarot, guys. Stay away from it, okay? I'm saying this out of love. I want y'all to get this promise. Because once it sucks you in, once that new age sucks you in, it's hard to get out of that. I've been there. I've experienced. It's hard. I will give my testimony. But it is not meant for you to come out of. He will suck you in. It's a rabbit hole. It's only by the grace of God you come out of that. Only. It's only God that can pull you out of that. So stay away. It is so imperative that you seek the Lord on whoever it is that you're standing for. It's so imperative. You can literally lose years from your life. You can miss your spouse, your blessing, and your birthright. The devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. If you do not hear the Lord clearly, it can be to your detriment. And it is a very serious thing. I don't mean to make it sound so do or die, but it is just that serious. The enemy will confuse your mind, and it's so easy to do so. All I'm saying is seek the Lord earnestly. Pray, fast, get on your knees, and ask him to reveal the truth to you, because the last thing you want to do is be bound to the lies of the devil about a person that is not your person. That's the worst thing in the world. That's the worst thing in the world. You're wasting years out of your life. Years out of your life standing for someone who God has not ordained for you. Please, please, please do not let the devil trick you into relinquishing, forfeiting your birthright. With your kingdom spouse, there lies your promises, your birthright. You know what I mean? Not just your spouse, so many other things, but a lot of times that connection is going to open the door for a lot of blessings that the Lord has for you both. The devil can be so cunning, you know what I mean? Just because a person is in church and they love the Lord, that doesn't necessarily mean that's the person for you. Stay away from New Age. Any tarot videos, all that stuff will lead you to a bowl of lies. Let's stay away from that. Seek the Lord. He'll show you, and he won't allow you to be bound to the devil's lies. If you just seek the Lord and stay at his feet, seek him in all his righteousness, he will never forsake you. I would like to share my testimony, at least half of it. I'll give a full testimony one day soon. About 5 years ago, I was backsliding. I was in the music industry. Not too crazy, but I knew a few people. I have a few contacts in my phone, some celebrities you guys know. And, in that industry, you meet all types of people. So I met a particular person that introduced me to spirituality. And I knew better. I was a whole Christian. Not only that, I'm a whole PK, pastor's kid. I knew better. But at the time, I was just trying to be open-minded, right? This was before I knew about the spiritual implications that I was getting myself into. This was before I knew how deep it really was. So I met this guy who introduced me to spirituality. To this day, I feel like he might have put a love spell on me or something. Guys, listen, I'm not one to accuse, but when I say the telepathy, I remember after I met him, I cried because I was just so in love and I did not know why. I felt this attachment to this guy that I barely knew, and I didn't know what was going on with me. Like, it got so bad, guys, I could hear his conversations from my home, and I wasn't even with this guy. Like, the dreams were so... When I say, guys, you have to be so careful. The devil is such a liar. He will make it seem so real. The difference is, at the time, I had all these synchronicities going on with this twin flame I thought I had. Guys, it was so deep. And it was so deep. I was seeing numbers everywhere. Right? Now, like I said, once again, just a big freaking copycat. The devil copies everything God does. This is what God does. God originated all of these things, guys. But the devil defiles it. You have to know the difference. So I'm seeing all these numbers, 1111. So, I get to researching what this is that I'm feeling. I've never experienced it. What pops up? Twin flame. Oh my goodness, the description sounded identical to what I was experiencing. So in my mind, I knew this person was this twin flame, right? And the situation was nothing God ordained. It was very stressful. It was very one-sided. The guy was very disrespectful to me, hurting me consistently with other women, and I stayed in the name of this twin flame journey, and it tore me down. When I say the signs and synchronicities were so on point, one time I was crying in my car. I was like, please send me a sign. Universe, please send me a sign. Is this person the one? This can't be the one. Like, I'm just so stressed out. It was so deep, guys, so deep. Like, this world is so spiritual. You are not alone. Those familiar spirits, they follow you. They do. They see your every move. You guys wonder why tarot is so on point. Okay. Right? You get where I'm going? So, I'm on the road. I'm crying. I'm like asking the universe, could you please show me if this person is really the one? It's so deep, guys. This car swerved in front of me. And y'all probably won't even believe me. This is how deep it is. It makes me want to cry right now. The car that swerved in front of me, the license plate on it said, Flame, you are. Flame, you are. FLAME, you, and the R. I was asking the universe, is this the one? Is this my twin flame? Flame, you are. My God. The deception. I don't know why I'm feeling led to give this testimony, but it's going to set someone free. God was not... This person didn't believe in God. This person was into spirituality. He believed in the universe. He wasn't a Christ believer. I knew better. I was trying to make all types of excuses. Well, maybe God's putting me in his life so I can, even though I'm into spirituality, I still did believe in Christ. but I wasn't even addressing him. I was addressing the universe, but I still, I was straddling the fence. So in my mind, I just knew it was wrong, but I tried to convince myself, maybe I'm in his life to bring him back to Christ. Like I'm God in himself, right? Only Jesus saves. You know what I mean? He'll put us in people's lives to plant seeds, but we can't, we're nobody's savior. So God was not in that situation whatsoever. So fast forward years later, that situation traumatized me so bad that when my God ordained spouse came back around, I questioned God like 50 million times. Needed reassurance so many times. I cried and prayed. I was on the floor crying, praying about it. I just didn't want to get it wrong. I was like, Lord, I don't want to get it wrong, but I just felt in my spirit it was the Lord. And my God ordained spouse is also a PK, pastor's kid, which doesn't mean anything, but it's a lot of other signs that the Lord has showed me. Biblical scriptures, dreams, the difference. It's a different type of. The other one was very toxic. This one is very, very pure, beautiful, but it's a lot of spiritual warfare. It's a difference. I feel the spirit on. I feel God's hand on this situation. I feel it. I see him in my spouse. I see Christ. I see the fruit. The person prior, it was very witchy. A lot of manipulation. Just, guys, be careful, okay? I prayed on this word, and I just needed extra confirmation before I relinquished it. I asked God, I said, Lord, is it okay to put this out? Is it okay? Please send me some confirmation, Lord. Is it okay? Is it time to give my testimony? Is it time to speak on this subject? And I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. Like I'll hear an answer in my spirit, but then I'll ask him to double back with the word, with the scripture. And a lot of times he literally puts the entire scripture in my head. He'll give me the entire scripture. So instantly I got lamination. For some reason, so I have the New Living Translation Bible, and there's no laminations in here. The other Bible, the New Testament Bible that I have, is in my car. I read that at work. So I had to Google it. It's apparently in the Old Testament. But anyhow, I'm going to read it to you guys. It was definitely confirmation for me. So it's Lamentations 3. I'm going to read 1 through 42. I am a man who has seen affliction by the rod of the Lord's wrath. He has driven me away and made me walk in darkness rather than light. Indeed, he has turned his hand against me again and again all day long. He has made my skin and my flesh grow old and have broken my bones. He has besieged me and surrounded me with bitterness and hardship. He has made me dwell in darkness like those long dead. He has walled me in so I cannot escape. He has weighed me down with chains. Even when I call out and cry for help, he shuts out my prayer. He has barred my way with blocks of stone. He has made my paths crooked. Like a bear lying in wait, like a lion in hiding, he dragged me from the path and mangled me and left me without help. He drew his bow and made me the target of his arrows. He pierced my heart with arrows from his quiver. I became the laughing stock of all my people. They mock me in a song all day. He has filled me with bitter herbs and given me gall to drink. He has broken my teeth with gravel. He has trampled me in the dust. I have been deprived of peace. I have forgotten what prosperity is. So I say, my splendor is gone. And all that I hoped for from the Lord, I remember my affliction in my wandering, the bitterness and the gall. I well remember them, and my soul is downcast within me. Yet this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness, I say to myself. The Lord is my portion, therefore I will wait for him. The Lord is good to those whose hope is in him. To the one who seeks him, it is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. It is good for a man to bear the yoke while he is young. Let him sit alone in silence, for the Lord has laid it on him. Let him bury his face in the dust. There may yet be hope. Let him offer his cheek to the one who strikes him, and let him be filled with disgrace. For no one is cast off by the Lord forever, though he brings grief. He will show compassion, so great is his unfailing love. For he does not willingly bring affliction or grief. For he does not willingly bring affliction or grief to anyone. To crush underfoot all prisoners in the land. To deny people their rights before the Most High. To deprive them of justice. Would not the Lord see such things? Who can speak and have it happen if the Lord has not decreed it? Is it not from the mouth of the Most High that both calamities and good things come from? Why should the living complain when punished for their sins? Let us examine our ways and test them, and let us return to the Lord. Wow, I'm going to read that part again. Let us examine our ways and test them, and let us return to the Lord. Let us lift up our hearts and our hands to God in heaven and say, we have sinned and rebelled, and you have not forgiven. You have covered yourself with anger and pursued us. You have slain without pity. You have covered yourself with a cloud, so that no prayer can get through. You have made us scum and refuse among the nations. All our enemies have opened their mouths wide against us. We have suffered terror and pitfalls, ruin and destruction. Streams of tears flow from my eyes because my people are destroyed. My eyes will flow unceasingly without relief until the Lord looks down from heaven and sees what I see brings grief to my soul because of the women in the city. Those who were my enemies without cause haunted me like a bird. They tried to end my life in a pit and threw stones at me. The water closed over my head, and I thought I was about to perish. I called on your name, Lord. From the depths of the pit, you heard my plea. So, guys, when I asked the Lord for confirmation if I can release this, he pretty much confirmed to me all those iniquities I went through, walking through darkness. It was all because of my own sin and disobedience. He allowed me to go through all of those experiences. He allowed it. He sat back. He was with me the entire time, but he allowed me to suffer and go through everything I went through because he's a loving God. He's a loving God. He disciplined me, and I made it out by the grace of God. I was in the fiery pit screaming for help. He pulled me out of that new age. He pulled me out of darkness. He pulled me out of that, guys. So that, to me, that was confirmation. Yeah. Release your testimony and let them know I allowed it. The devil can't cause anything if the Lord doesn't allow it. So anyway, guys, I pray that this blesses you. I know it's going to set somebody free. Well, if it's just one person, praise God. God is good. I was never deep into it, witchcraft and doing spells and stuff. But, it's enough done. Tarot and stuff like that. And you have to renounce these things because, you don't just wake up and decide you want to stop. You done got yourself into contracts, agreements, and you have to renounce these things and ask God to redeem you and forgive you. And you have to do a whole lot to rid yourself of that. So I pray you be blessed in Jesus' name. God loves you, and so do I. Peace.